Virginia woman convicted of drugging, fatally shooting her two daughters in a plot to get revenge on ex-husband who was leaving her. We were told that you shouldn't get someone pregnant just to keep them in a relationship, and you shouldn't have someone's child just to keep them in a relationship. So with that, when things don't work out, if things don't work out, you should not be directing your anger towards the children. That is nasty work. A jury in Virginia convicted a woman of killing her two daughters and rejected her insanity defense as prosecutors said the case went well beyond merely having a mental illness. Officials said on August 5th, 2018, Veronica Youngblood, 37, shot 15-year-old Sharon Castro and 5-year-old Brooklyn Youngblood and then called her ex-husband to tell him that she killed the children and she hated him, the Washington Post reported. These are the actions of someone who was severely depraved and heartless, who cared nothing for these two little girls' lives, and at the end just wanted to use them as tokens to get back at her husband who wanted to do nothing but get the hell away from her, and rightfully so. While Veronica was leaving a message for her husband, Ron Youngblood, her teen daughter, who was shot in the back and the chest, called 911 and told them her mother shot her. Sharon died at the hospital, and Brooklyn was pronounced dead at the scene after being shot once in the head. Damn. During the trial, prosecutors said the murders were vengeance against Ron, who was planning to move to Missouri and take Brooklyn with him. Prosecutors stated Veronica bought the gun used in the murders days before the sole purpose of killing her daughters. She then gave them sleeping pills before shooting them, officials said. So she just tried it with the insanity defense to see if they would fall for it. This was clearly premeditated. She knew exactly what she wanted to do. Veronica's attorney, Dawn Budarak, argued that Youngblood was from Argentina and grew up in poverty and was physically and sexually abused by family members. She said Veronica became a sex worker, which is how she met Ron and married him in 2009. In her closing arguments, Budarak reminded jurors that Veronica told investigators that she was guilty and wanted to die. Her sister, Myra Coxaba, testified that Youngblood was hearing voices and practiced a South American religion that believed they could communicate with the dead through rituals. I don't know if that was some last ditch effort to try to add a little bit more padding to her insanity defense, but if something is speaking to you and telling you to do harm to somebody, especially kill someone, either you need to hurry up and get help or you need to just stop listening because whatever's talking to you is not your friend. Prosecutors argued that Youngblood is spiteful, selfish, vengeful, and calculated. I believe that more than I believe she was hearing voices, and she does this for her own personal gain, officials said. Youngblood was found guilty on 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of felony firearm use last week. The jury is currently deliberating on a sentence, but prosecutors argued for 2 life sentences, and Youngblood's attorneys recommended the minimum sentence of 46 years, WUSA reported. You see how this plays out, whereas there might have been a chance for her to reconcile with her husband somewhere down the line, or become friends, or at the very least, meet each other at some common ground. But through her selfishness, for her claiming to not want to be alone, she threw it all away, and now she's going to have to spend 46 years in prison alone. Veronica did testify during the sentencing phase and seemingly blamed her ex-husband for the murders. No accountability. First it was the voices in her head, now it's her husband, WUSA reported. She looked at him in the courtroom and said, "Why did you leave me? Why did you leave me alone with the girls? None of this would have happened." I don't believe that one bit. I believe that if she would have been able to successfully include him in her plan, she would have killed him too, or we would have been looking at some sort of murder-suicide situation. What do you think?